Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your weekly reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Taurus, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Princess of Swords. This is someone who is really curious. This is somebody who is, I think, trying to investigate. This is, I think, somebody who, I guess, finds it very easy to learn new information, right? Is always trying to learn new skills. Yeah. It could be somebody who is trying to learn more about themselves, trying to learn about what I really want, right? What direction is your life taking? Yeah. This may be someone, because you see this figure's on their back foot. They're in sort of a defensive position. This is somebody that's trying to push forward despite the obstacles, despite the uncertainty, despite the sort of psychic entropy, despite the naysayers. Okay. We need some context for this card. Yeah. Let's put the rest of our cards on the table. We've got an 8 of Pentacles, a 2 of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles, the High Priestess, and, oh, that devil energy. That's very nice. The Princess of Swords with that 8 of Pentacles. Spirit's telling you to kind of slow down. In a way, Spirit's saying, let's be patient, right? Rome wasn't built in a day, right? But also Spirit is saying that we need to look at the details. We look at these two cards, right? We've got to look at the details here. You've got to find out what it is that this situation is really, really needing. Because maybe we've been sort of just like closing our eyes and trying to sort of steamroll our way forward, you know. I feel like right now what we need is more patience and more attention to detail. And that may involve slowing down a little bit. And that may involve, really analyzing how we've been approaching this situation. And how have we been meeting the needs of the situation? I don't know what the situation is necessarily. What else does this situation need? We think of a tree in our garden, nice big olive tree, and we want it to grow. We want it to provide fruit. Maybe this is a business, right? We want it to grow and be strong and stable, and we want it to be around for a long time, and we want it to continue bearing fruit for us. We like that. We like those olives, you know. But we have to understand that this is an individual, you know, that this situation, we can treat it as an entity. It's unique. It has its own desires. It has its own needs and wants. Okay. And I think that this is really about us figuring out in the moment how to take care of this thing, how to help it grow, right? It could really be that we had this impression that we do this certain thing and we're growing the tree. We think we are doing it. We're not. We're helping something to do what it's naturally supposed to do. Okay. And I think that if we shift our mindset a little bit, then we'll listen more. Like a Princess of Swords might be trying to listen more, to really kind of take a step back and say, okay, what is this thing telling me? What does it really need? Because it's not, I can't just do the same old thing that I always do, because this thing is not the same old thing that I always try to grow, Maybe you've grown a lot of different things in your life. Maybe never an olive tree. So it's special. You kind of know generally how to do it. Soil, water, sunlight, whatever. But the nuance is something that we have to really learn in real time in our relationship with this thing. Maybe it's a business. Maybe it's a romantic partnership. Maybe it's a creative partnership. Maybe it's a financial thing. Maybe it has something to do with your health or your well-being. Okay, it's kind of like, I've been exercising and eating this way for 30 years, but suddenly now it's not working the same way it used to, right? We may have to adjust things. We may need a little bit of an adjustment or a different strategy. We may have to realize that just because it's been working for so long doesn't mean it's going to be working now. Doesn't mean the same techniques, the same skills, the same process is going to work. It's a different thing now. So we could be talking about a lot of different things. Take it how it resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. We're going to lay down the rest of our cards here. We've got a Princess of Wands now, a 9 of Wands, a 3 of Swords, and the Ace of Cups. Look at that. Look at that. That is real joy and satisfaction. This is real love here. And see, it's under the surface here. It's kind of like this situation now. I feel like it could have a lot of fruit. It really could work. But right now, it's just we've been doing the same thing. There's been this routine, right? The 8 of Pentacles, there's been this sort of monotony. Been doing the same thing day after day after day after day. If you're at the gym, you're doing the same exact exercises with the same exact weight over and over and over again. Eventually, there's going to be diminishing returns. You're actually going to start getting weaker, less healthy. So we need the fluctuation. We need the nuance. We need the little adjustments here and there, the little tweaks. But we have to listen. We can't just, Princess of Wands, randomly go in and start tinkering with things. If we don't understand how the engine works, we can't just go in there with our screwdriver and start turning screws and flipping switches and plugging wires in different places. It's not going to work. We have to listen. We have to know. We have to learn. We have to develop the skill. Research, read the books, listen, absorb, right? Then we can start getting creative. Then we can start experimenting and having a little bit of improvisation. Okay, so it's nice that we have both of these cards here, both princesses. We're trying to find solutions right here, right now, in real time. These are two cards that think of the present. Right now, in this situation, okay, I got to learn more about it, what it needs, how it works. Right? You're trying to grow a business. You're trying to learn a skill. You're trying to, grow coffee. Roast coffee, right? Open a coffee shop. You got to learn about the process. And maybe you have to learn about the process and you've got to do it over and over and over again in this very standard way, in this very routine, humdrum, monotonous way. Learn the routine, get the technique down. But then we need a little bit of improv. We need a little bit of spontaneity. We need a little bit of creativity, a little bit of art. Right now, this is where you start to make it your own. Okay? And that, I think, leads to the real satisfaction. This is really a joyous thing. I think you're finding a joy in this process here. But it's sort of, it's under the surface, right? It's sort of a background joy. Because of this, all your attention is focused here. Okay? And this may be difficult. This may be problem solving, right? Solving the problem in a very practical way. I just need to learn more about it to understand how this sort of thing works. Whether it's a business, a relationship, a family, maybe you're growing an olive tree, maybe you're raising a kid, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is. Let's select our mystery card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we'll set it down right here with our little sea turtle friend right on top. I forgot what we had said we were going to name our sea turtle. Remind me in the comments. I can't remember what we said they were going to be. But if you have a prediction for the card, put that in the comments as well. Okay, let's take a look around the room here. We got a couple of major arcana. Yeah, we do. We got these two. The High Priestess and the Devil card. Okay, the High Priestess is really that sort of divine light in your life that's showing you that this is the path to paradise. That this is the thing that you need to focus your attention on because this is where you really want to be. This is going to be your best life. We're trying to grow this into an Empress card. We're trying to grow this into a paradise. We're starting with one tree, but it's going to be huge. This is going to be, everything. It's going to be your best life. You're going to be living the good life, right? And the High Priestess is that divine light that's showing us how to get to the Empress, because the High Priestess is card number 2. The Empress is card number 3, right behind it. The High Priestess is showing you the way, saying, come this way. This is your best life over here, right? And so you recognize that, and that's why you're here. Okay. Now the Devil card is very interesting too, because sometimes the Devil card is, every card has light and shadow, The light side of this card is that once we sort of figure this stuff out, you're gonna make a lot of progress. The Devil card is that engine. The Devil card is you climbing the mountain, making progress, getting to the goal, whatever the goal is. You're climbing the mountain, you're doing the thing, and it's working, and it feels good in the moment, and you're engaged in that activity. Okay. It's not about the summit of the mountain, right? But getting to the summit is a very positive thing. It's a reinforcement. It's something that you experience that says, yeah, I'm on the right path. This is worth it. This is great. But then once you're on the summit, you say, okay, let's keep going. Okay, it's kind of like you're going up the mountain to the summit, down the mountain, then back up the mountain to the summit, then down the mountain. And I think there actually was somebody that did that. They summited Everest from both sides of the mountain in sort of one path, I think they did. I'm not sure who that was. But that's kind of what the Devil card wants you to do. This is where we feel the most joy and satisfaction when we're engaged with the work. Those periods of bliss, those summit experiences are very rewarding and very reinforcing. But they just kind of tell us, yeah, you're doing it, keep doing it. And then we're going to keep climbing and keep working and keep engaged with this thing, with this life, whatever it is. But on the other hand, the shadow side of that Devil card is kind of when something becomes so tedious and you're working on something that's very slow, right? Let's say you're painting something, a little model airplane, you're painting it. And it's so tedious. So comes a point that sometimes you'll just say, screw it. And you'll just get a big paintbrush and you'll paint the whole thing real fast. Just to be done. All right, I'm done with it. Gosh, I hated that. That was terrible, And so there's a point where that tediousness, that tedium and monotony gets to us. And then our devil energy just wants to hit the gas. It's just that road rage. We just floor it and we drive on the shoulder around the traffic, because we just can't sit there and do it inch by inch by inch anymore. But that's trouble. You can't do that. You'll get a ticket, or worse, you'll get into an accident or something, right? So don't do that. But that's sort of the devil. That's the shadow side of this, the temptation to just I could just knock this thing out in 5 minutes. Yeah, but it's going to look horrible. You're painting your house. You got to do it right. You got to do the painter's tape, and you got to lay the tarp down. You got to get the rollers, whatever, right? But sometimes it's so tedious, where it's just I just want to be done. So I'm just going to get a spray paint thing, and I'm just going to do it real. I could do it in 5 minutes. Yeah, you could, but it's going to be nearly worthless, right? So that's the devil card energy. We have a little bit of fire. We've got good water. We've got some air, challenging air though. And then we've got our earth energy in the front here. Okay. And, the earth energy, I think, let's start with the Knight of Pentacles, because the Knight of Pentacles is the one card that's been looking at the future. And I think when you started this thing, you kind of you were looking at the summit of the mountain. You said, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to get to the top. That's going to feel good. That's going to be, it's like the high priestess was showing you this, hey, look. And you looked all the way to the top, and you saw the paradise at the top. You saw the summit of Everest, and you think, for me? Oh, thank you. And, but then, no, the high priestess was showing you the whole mountain. Not just the top, not just the end result, the goal, but all the work to get there. And so sometimes we get into things not really knowing what we've broken off for ourselves, Yeah, we've bit off a big chunk, and now we got to chew it. And so we sometimes are looking too much at the future and not enough at what's going on right here, right now. This is the work. So we better find a way to enjoy this, because that future, that summit, is not guaranteed. And that summit is really just a pat on the back for all the hard work that you did, But then it's kind of shoving you back on the mountain, saying, get back to work. So I wonder if you had a little bit of a different idea of what this journey would be like when you started it. Okay. But I think that you are able to transform this tedium into something truly enjoyable in the moment, being in the flow of this work. Right? This Two of Cups underneath everything is love. Okay? And maybe this has to do with a romantic relationship. Maybe this has to do with a labor of love. Right? Maybe it's this business, this olive tree that you're growing. Yeah, you want the olives at the end. But you also can focus on those enjoyable days, moments, every moment, watching the thing grow, taking the water jug over and giving it some water, or the hose, or whatever you do. The watering can, right, on a big tree. Finding joy and love in those moments where you're caring for this thing. Maybe you're caring for a family member. Maybe you're caring for a pet. Maybe you're nursing a sick child or a friend or family member. And yeah, you want to see the summit of the mountain. You want to get that reward at the end that said, all right, I contributed to this thing becoming this beautiful tree and bearing fruit. Healthy, strong, robust, We want that reward at the end. But it's very rewarding in that moment-to-moment experience, if we choose to look at it that way. And I think you do. I think you do look at it this way. I think we had different expectations of what it would be like. But I think you're finding a lot of joy in these moments because you get to learn, you get to listen, right? You get to be part of something on that day-to-day, moment-to-moment experience, taking care of something. The rewards, right, that you feel in that process. And I sort of feel that is what your paradise is supposed to be. That's what that's what the high priestess is showing you. Not showing you the summit of the mountain and say, look, you do all this boring ass work and you can get to some really good feelings later. I think Spirit's trying to show you that what you're doing, the work itself, is where the joy and the love and the connections really are. So maybe we don't want to hit the gas too fast, right? This could be the business, this could be the work, this could be your day job, whatever it is. Okay. I think it's a labor of love. I do think that there's a need here to slow down. That there's a message here. I think slow down and smell these roses, slow down and enjoy the process of building what we're building, of doing what we're doing. It's kind of like you're trying to raise a kid. But you're thinking, one day they'll be an adult, they'll be successful, they'll be happy, and that'll be my reward. That I can say, I successfully raised a kid. But meanwhile, I just got to hurry up and get through the days and do it and get through these years. And I think about that with my daughter. I got a 4-year-old daughter. And sometimes Spirit is telling me to slow down and really listen to her and engage with her and look at her. Give all of my attention to her. Because eventually we will be at the summit of the mountain. She will be an adult. And my job, essentially, for the most part, right, is going to be over. I mean, not really, but you know what I mean. We'll have reached that sort of, that culmination of things. And I don't want to wait until she's 18, 20, 30 years old to feel the joy of this, right? I feel in every moment that I'm with her, and I'm engaged with her. If I'm worried about every other thing, if I'm busy thinking about Tom, Dick, and Harry, I'm not paying attention to her. I'm not in the moment. I'm not in the flow. I'm not feeling the joy or the connection of what I'm doing in that situation as a father raising a child, And this is what Spirit's trying to show us. It's not in some future state. It's right now. And the Devil card is saying that whatever the impasse is now, or whatever the sort of, if there is a blockage now, we're going to figure it out. And we'll keep making progress. There's nothing worse than feeling like we're doing all this work and nothing's really coming of it. That there is no, I feel the joy day to day being here watering the plant, but then if the days go by and the thing's still only like this tall, it's not that reward. Then it's kind of like it's starting to lose its luster a little bit. Then the days don't seem so rewarding, right? So we want the progress. We want to see that we're getting a little closer to the summit. And the summit's just an arbitrary thing that we can stick a pin into on the map and say, I'm getting a little closer. Because that's the positive reinforcement. I'm getting a little closer. Some days maybe I get further than other days, or whatever, but I'm getting closer. Right? We're doing it. My efforts are having an impact. Yeah. It's sort of, we're finding the meaning of life here. Yeah. And now we're going to talk about the path of the serpent. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is totally free. Doesn't cost anything. It supports the channel. I appreciate that. I have another channel, Dove and Serpent Bedtime Stories. Be sure to subscribe over there as well. Also, find me on Facebook, Dove and Serpent Tarot. On Facebook, look for the blue check mark. If it does not have the blue check mark, it's not me. your general energy, Princess of Wands. This is sort of a more playful attitude, right? This is a little bit more creative. This is kind of saying like, look, you've studied up, you know what you're doing, you've developed the skills, okay? You've sort of, you've done the routine work, and you sort of know what that's all about. But we also need a little bit of fire. We need a little bit of creativity, a little bit of fun, right? We got to dance with the tiger just a little bit here. We've got to sprinkle in a little bit of our creative flair, our artistic sensibilities. And I think this is the way that we make something absolutely unique, right? That it's not just by the book, trying to go through the routine and do things in that right way. For me, this is with my daughter, we've got these little secret handshakes that we do. We got these little inside jokes that are just between she and I, you know. And it's a particular way that we play, or she'll say, oh, Dad, do the voice, you know. We have these little things that make it, that are just ours, that make it unique. These little creative things, you know. You could say they don't really mean much, but in essence, they mean everything. Because the routine, me telling her, okay, we got to wake up, brush our teeth, we got to, you know, wash our hands, we got to go to school, we got to come on, I got to drive you here. And the routine of our lives is very important too. And in some ways, as the parent, it seems like to me, the routine is what really is important. That's what matters, right? But to her, no, it's the other way around. To her, it's those moments of fun and creativity where Dad's doing the voice, or we play this game where she jumps on top of me, right? You know, it's these things that we have that are just, they're special between she and I. And I feel like you need those things too. And so there's a way that we develop that routine and the day-to-day sort of order and structure of things. But you also need the ability to have those special moments and those creative things and the special words, the special phrases, the secret handshakes, the special games, you know, or whatever it might be. We've got to make this relationship unique. We got to add a little spice, a little flair. Okay? Whatever this is, maybe this is an olive tree. And it's kind of like, it's your olive tree. What distinguishes you and this olive tree from everybody else and their olive tree? What makes this one yours? What makes this one special, right? You know, it's context, you know, but it's also content. Yeah. It's also the relationship that you have between that. And we see that with a Nine of Wands here too. This is strength. I think this is really a strong bond between you and this work or this relationship, or maybe it's a person, whatever this is. You're strengthening the bond. And that's sort of like what the Princess of Wands is doing in my example with my daughter. These little things we have, our secret handshakes and our little inside jokes and things, we're strengthening the bond we have with each other. You know, that we can look at each other and we can just wink and we'll know. You know what I mean? We're creating our own kind of, I don't know, our own secret language in a way, right? Strengthening the bond. And I think this is important for you. And I think you need to focus on that. How do we strengthen the bond with this? Because we could easily just go through the routine and we could have some satisfaction in that. But how much more satisfaction could you have between yourself and this thing or this person or this work that you do if you make it your own, if you add this unique flair, if you got your own sort of secret handshakes and inside jokes? Okay. And I think that is what Spirit really wants you to know. I think this is going to be the most important thing for you. I think this is the most important reading you're going to see. Okay? Because this is the secret to how you really make this something. Because you know you're supposed to be here. But how do we get that sort of, you know, how do we really make it good and wholesome and satisfying and happy and joyous? I think the secret really is in our Princess of Wands, you know. The Princess of Wands is, again, it's partly that energy that just kind of wants to rush through and do everything as fast as we can just to get done with it. Yeah, because this can be that impulsive energy too. In some ways, this is fun dad, and this is routine, let's brush our teeth and go to school dad, right? And we need both. If we're gonna grow this thing, right? If we're gonna really make this something good and healthy and strong, we need both, routine, boring dad and fun. Let's just go crazy kind of dad, And it may be that you need a little bit more craziness. You need a little bit more flair, a little bit more fun. Throw a little glitter on it. You know what I mean? I think this is what it needs. Over here is good. I mean, this is a good flow. If we really want to bring out this love quality and this strength and this bond, this connection, I think we need to throw a little glitter on it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the strength. That's going to create such a strong connection between you and this person or this work or this job or whatever it is. It's really unbreakable, And I think that this is the way we do every relationship. The Nine of Wands is in the position of your relationships. This is how we strengthen our bonds between everybody. Friends, family members, coworkers. I'm talking about this relationship with my daughter, but I have, relationships like that with you, where we've got our own secret handshakes and our little inside jokes and our little characters on the table, our toys, the way we play, the phrases we use, the things we say to each other, And it creates a bond. Me and my wife, we've got this bond too, where she and I can say one word to each other and we'll both just bust up laughing, doesn't matter where we are, right? It's quite the sight to see. And, with friends, with family members, there are these things that we have, these special bonds. Yeah. The flair, right? The extra. The stuff that is not absolutely necessary, right? You need water, shelter, food, right? Everything else is just a bonus. Yeah. Well, that's the bonus we really want. That's what we really need. Yeah. Now, the Three of Swords in the difficult position. The difficulty here, I think, is really just sort of is to recognize that, dang, I don't have that with everybody. I don't have that flair. I don't have that bond, that strong relationship with a lot of people. Maybe with this, right? And it's kind of like, this is how I would feel. And honestly, this is sometimes how I do feel. Sometimes I'm boring dad. Most of the time. Most days I go to sleep thinking, I was boring dad all day. We didn't have one chance to be fun dad, right? Doing the voices, doing the games, the inside jokes. And so I can really understand this Three of Swords, because we just think, I don't have that sort of strong bond with people, right? And I don't have a lot of friends. Go figure, But with the people that do matter, you don't have to have a lot of friends. You don't have to be the most popular person, but those individuals in your life, those are the ones that we really want to hang on to. And we need to have that little something special. We need that flair. We need that glitter. We need those relationships to sparkle. This doesn't sparkle, does it? So this could be a sorrow. This could be a fundamental lamentation. It could be an existential dread of a life that is, monotonous and routine and boring dad. Or boring mom or boring auntie or boring friend, right? I'm not saying we're boring, but that we don't have those deep personal connections with what we're doing or with the people we're doing it with. And sometimes we need to narrow down our lives. Maybe you are too popular, and maybe in that popularity, you don't feel that you have the same deep, intimate connections with people. There's just too many people. It's hard to maintain those relationships. So we have a Saturn and Libra energy here. It's kind of a more narrow or restricted focus in our personal relationships. And I think that it's allowing you to focus on those things that really matter. What are the branches of this tree that really matter? These are the branches that we want to be strong. We want to grow new branches, but we can't have all these new branches. We can't have a lot of fruit if the branches we have are weak. Every branch that we have, we need to really strengthen it and focus on and have that bond, So it's kind of like you have a lot of kids, right? You got to do that. You got to have those bonds with each of them. You have friends, family members, coworkers even. Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever this olive tree is that you're trying to grow, this is your life, okay? And we may not even be talking about people necessarily. I think we are, though, because of the 3 court cards. We have 1, 2, 3. And anytime we get 3 or more court cards, I think, there's people around, huh? But this is a life where, in order for us to really create a life that is strong and can bear the weight of all the branches and all the fruit it's going to have, for it to even start to produce fruit, we need to make these branches really, really strong. We have to add our creative flair into them. It's not just about the routine. It's not just about showing up, watering the tree, making sure it's got sunlight, and then that's it. Right? Water, shelter, food. Okay, done. It's about the extra. It's about everything, all the bonus. Everything, it's about the glitter, right? It's about that deeper relationship that I think means more, but cannot exist without the water, shelter, food. Right? But it's so much more significant. And it strengthens something beyond what water, shelter, food can do. Yeah. And the 3 of Swords there is a card of memory. Okay? And I wonder how we can use that. Can we use our memory to, perhaps, well, like in my case, for instance, I don't like talking about myself, but I can't think of a better way to illustrate this. Remembering that in my childhood, I didn't have that with my parents. I didn't have those little inside jokes, those little special bonds as a kid with my parents. And so remembering that, and boo-hoo, woe is me. No. It encourages me to have that with my daughter, because I know kind of what it feels like to not have that, And look at me, I'm fine, right? Well, but the point is that we can use this memory. We can use our ability to recreate a thought or a feeling in our heads. Right? That's what the 3 of Swords is. It's the function of memory. It's the power of your mind to construct whatever it wants. Very often it's constructing a lot of negative situations that then make us feel bad. And that's a whole other can of worms, right? Let's use this function to, construct something, to think about something and immerse ourselves, to relive something or to recreate something. Build something in your mind that's going to help encourage you to do what you need to do, you know? And in my case, this thing about, I didn't have a very close relationship with my parents. So I want that for my daughter. And if she grows up and she doesn't want that anymore, that's fine, right? That's not the point. The point is, in these moments, she enjoys that. She smiles like I've never seen her smile when we're doing these things, and she laughs. And then she'll say at random times, "Daddy, do the voice," or "Daddy, play the game," or "Daddy, do the thing where you say this," and then whatever it is. And that's the moment. Those are the moments. It's not about the summit, right? We got this Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is here and now, right now, every day. In every one of these, every moment can be one of these peak experiences. Every moment could be a summit. Yeah. And I think this is real joy. I think this is what you're after. And it is something that we can have long-term. Long-term, we got a goal here, right? It's the Knight of Pentacles is looking up at the top of the mountain and thinking, one day I'll get there. You know, yes, we need those long-term goals. And that's going to be a hell of an experience. But we can have, or we need, reinforcement every single day as we're climbing this mountain of life. We need this joy, this flow, this resonance, these bonds, this intimate sort of relationship with life. It keeps us going. And I think it keeps us healthy, keeps us young. It keeps us here. The reason we're willing to endure the hard work is because it feels so good. And it means so much. Let's look at our mystery card, yeah? Before I completely lose my voice. I kind of think it's going to be more water energy, honestly. What do you think it's going to be? Put your suggestion or your prediction down below. Let's see what we have. Another Two of Cups. So now the Two of Cups that was under the surface is now front and center. That's the way. This is the way. See, it kind of looks like a secret handshake, right? I wonder if this is a father and a daughter. Secret handshake. Yeah. I think these are those special moments between people that mean everything. They're sort of meaningless, but they're full of meaning. You know, they're not essential to life, but yet they are the most essential part. And now this feeling of love, this feeling of connection, of joy, of flow, that's under the surface. Now you're experiencing it. Now you're getting that. In the middle of this work, growing this olive tree now. It feels rewarding in every moment. I like this. This may be my favorite reading. We're going to do an extended element too. If you want to stick around for that, there's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Taurus Monday and Friday. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It's free, okay, and it supports the channel. Also, subscribe to Dove and Serpent Bedtime Stories. And go find me on Facebook. Look for the blue check mark, okay? Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.